of title pressure whatsoever. It's Jim White, Simon Jordan, Martin Keown. We're live in Talk Sport.
100% engagement.
Jim White and Simon Jordan on Talk Sport.
Well, good morning, my little Monday team. Mr. Keown, Arsenal Invincible, you're very welcome.
Good morning, guys.
Your team's still riding high. Your club is still on that march to the Premier League title.
Yeah, very stable. It's a good story at the moment for Arsenal. Bit sluggish start against Leeds, but pulled it off in the end. Jesus was outstanding, coming back into that centre forward position, really important. There's a lot of injuries for Arsenal really at the moment, which they're sort of camouflaging, but nonetheless good win. City though weren't they? They set the standard first thing in the morning, and then all hell breaks loose. We've lost two managers, Jim, overnight. So that's the pressure of possible relegations, and then the pressure of getting into the top four and winning the Premier League.
Simon, I mean, you said weeks ago Brendan Rodgers is done, and I remember you saying it, and afterwards I remember saying to you, you seem very certain about that. Well, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't think we lost two managers. We know where they are. They're down the job of it, down the unemployment line, where probably both of them deserve to be. I think Brendan Rodgers, I think if I was reading the room, I think that's more to do with Brendan Rodgers saying he's had enough. I think that's not necessarily Leicester's owners putting the drawbridge up or dropping the guillotine on him. I think he's probably walked away himself. Graham Potter, well, look, I wrote an article about him 4 weeks ago in the Mail saying he's got 4 games. In the next 4 games, if they do not do something significant, I think he's going to be gone. Well, they did him on the 5th. On the 5th game against Aston Villa. Look, I mean, what do you say? If you look at this litany of managerial casualties, if you want to use that expression, I can't find too many of them that you can say, whoa, wow, that's a shocker. I mean, people will say Thomas Tuchel, but there's a lot behind the scenes with that dismissal that people, if they knew, would have a slightly different view. But the bottom line is if you look at all those managers that have been...
Shouldn't have sacked him though, should they?
Well, depends how you're behaving behind the scenes. Depends if you're putting yourself in a situation where you're at complete odds with the owner of the football club, and then you're in a...
Maybe it was just a new owner, but getting used to how he should behave behind the scenes. Is he not too much hands on this new owner?
Well, you get the balance, don't you? Absolutely, you get the balance. And of course, it's fair game now for Todd Bowles, because everyone's going to turn around and say, here you are. You're reaping the whirlwind for the decisions that you make. And there is a case to be answered about sometimes taking a stock, but there is also a case to be fully conversant with all the facts about why some managers get dismissed and some of those don't find their way into the public domain. And if they did, and people understood a little bit more... I wonder
if you asked him now, did he make the right call when he walked into the job?
Look, if someone wants to behave in a certain way, I would have made the call that he made, and I would have made the call. I would have made the call that he made if I'd been there for 10 years.
Maybe one day he'll come and defend himself on that, because I'm not sure what it is of these allegations that you allege.
But I don't. But
for me, if I judge him as a manager, what he did on the pitch, I thought he was doing a very good job at Chelsea, and he was denied the opportunity to finish it, and now he finds himself at Bayern Munich.
He was denied the same opportunity at PSG, wasn't he? There's a common denominator, isn't there? There's a common denominator.
Because he's good at what he does.
Well, yes, of course. There is a point where being good at what you do and bringing the club into a certain situation of disrepute when you're behaving in a certain way and making life difficult with your owner. There's only one winner in the end. The owners are the guys that write the checks, and whether we like it or we don't like it from a football fraternity point of view, managers have to learn how to behave themselves at times and manage up. Now, I agree with you. I was a huge advocate, so was Jim, for Thomas Tuchel and for him as a manager, and on the field stuff, that's where you judge people. But in the end, if your behaviour off the field isn't where it needs to be, it'll eventually land on the field. But I do agree that possibly Bowley's made a rod for his own back.
The only thing maybe he was guilty of was non-communication with his new owner, but he may have been thinking, do you know what, look, it's too much interference. You've just bought a football club, spent a lot of money, that's fine, but I'm going to show you how you need to behave, so just going to go quiet on you and let me manage the football club.
There's an alternative view, of course, which may be one that you concur with, is that if the person at the top of the business who you work for, not the other way around, wants to have a relationship with you on a certain level, then you're the employee, you may well be the manager, and you may well be the person that has the authority on the pitch with the players, but you don't have the authority when it comes to the guy that runs a football club. And maybe there needs to be just a little bit more balance and respect between who actually works for who.
And I think that's right, Simon. And I think that's where there's a difference between the Tuchel departure and the Potter departure, to be honest, Martin. Because 42 days ago, and I said this to Laura moments ago, the top of the house at Chelsea...